I took things so literally with religion. And,
so do you have a lot of guilt?
oh, lots of guilt. Lots of guilt. Especially when I went through puberty. That's when the guilt hit.
Why is that? Why is that?
So then I have this sex drive. I knew nothing about sex. I didn't go to the sex ed talk at school. My mom erroneously figured my dad had told me enough, and I had 4 older brothers. Maybe she figured they had told me enough. For whatever reason, she said, "Oh, you don't need to go to that sex ed class." They had 6th grade, and I didn't go. I was so clueless about sex. I have a bit I do sometimes, but maybe this might be too adult. I don't know. It's kids watch it. Anyway, what happened is I thought that a nocturnal emission was masturbation, and that really messed up my head. It's pretty funny on stage, though, when I talk about that, actually. I know that seems like it could be.
Go ahead and do your thing.
Well, what happened...
Keep it as clean as is humanly possible, but don't stress about it. Just tell your story.
Okay. So what happens is, how does it go? I thought, well, I tell people that I learned about sex basically in church. Because I didn't get to talk in school. We didn't talk about it at home. So the only place we talked about sex was in church. And my sex ed class was Mormon Sunday school. And that's just, and this is what I learned in my sex ed Mormon Sunday school. If you masturbate, you will go to hell. And they said other stuff, but I didn't hear it. You know, I just sat there going, dang it, you know, that's a short ride, you know. But in actuality, I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking, what is masturbation? I didn't know what that was. I literally didn't. It's a big word. I didn't really know what it was. But so I run home and I'm looking in the dictionary under masturbation, and I find it, and then I have to look up 5 more words, you know what I mean? Because it's just this chain reaction to ignorance. And then I finally figure out what it is. Oh, that, but I still didn't know what it was. I ended up with this confusion in my head that I thought it was a nocturnal emission. I'll cut out the rest of the bit, but I literally was setting my alarm for 2 in the morning so I could wake up and prevent, you know, my, can I say penis? My penis from marching me to hell. I thought it was like, you know, I could stop, don't do this, this is evil. And
so, I mean, you joke about it, but that's, I mean, I'm studying psychology. I've actually talked to people that suffered pretty severe emotional trauma from the guilt they experienced from this exact scenario that you just described.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, very traumatic. Very traumatic. And I mean, this is over a period of how many months and months and months of me not understanding that I'm normal, that I'm not weird, that this is part of the normal function, that God gives you this sex drive. And when I do this, or nature, whatever you may believe, but it's there. And when I do it on stage, there's more facts and it's funnier, it flows better and all that. But yeah, I guess it was traumatizing, maybe. I don't know.
So is it weird to do a bit about something in a comedic way that has such deep, painful roots potentially? It was. Or do you get over it, or are you just compartmentalize?
Yeah, maybe I'm doing that stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm compartmentalizing, or it's kind of cathartic in a way. I laugh at it. It really is, when it's all put together, a very, very funny bit. And I think it's powerful, and I think there's enough people have gone through that or something similar that it's very truthful and meaningful, and it gives my job meaning. I mean, I feel good about what I'm doing. When I do that bit, I feel good about it. Ironically, I also get many Mormons who tell me I'm going to hell for talking about that. Often. I got just this weekend, someone I'd gone to high school, I got word they think I should clean up my act. And I'm okay, I got you. Don't talk about this stuff because that's so healthy, you know.
Yeah. So this bit that you do now, you've got me wanting to hear it. Is there someplace we could access it, or do I just need to tell you to do it?
I didn't do it on the that show, did I? I didn't do that bit. Dang it.
Do you remember it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Let's do it, and then if we have to put it in post-production.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. So I grew up very sexually repressed. I mean, Mapleton, Utah, they would not even put out the condoms out at the store. You know how you go to the store and the condoms would be back, like behind the counter. They said teenagers would steal them, which of course is, yeah, right. You lose a few condoms. So how about an unwanted pregnancy? How expensive is that? But they hide them, and I think they hid the condoms because they're afraid teenagers would find the condoms, get all excited and curious about sex, right? Of course, I was already excited and curious about sex because I had a penis, you know. Like the sight of a condom is going to suddenly remind a 13-year-old boy about this constant boner, you know. Like, wow, I hadn't thought about you in seconds. So they hide the condoms, but then every spring, pregnancies, of course. Wherever you have people, pregnancies, that's the way it's supposed to work, you know. And then the whole town would, what happened? What went wrong? Well, Satan is so powerful, you know, I bet you they've seen a condom. You know, just this. So hide. Yeah, they hide the condom. Saying condoms makes teenagers have sex is like saying the headlights on my car make the sun go down. You know, it's that logical. Say hide the condoms every spring. Now, I don't think teenagers should have condoms. I should have sex, don't get me wrong. I don't think they should have sex. I don't think the little poop should drive, you know what I mean? I don't think teenagers should operate vehicles or genitalia. I don't even think they should own genitalia. It's one of those things that make you doubt in God. You know, the world, you see things in the world, you're like, how could there be a God with that? You know, like poverty and war and astroturf. How could there be a God? And that's teenagers with genitalia is one of these things. Like, how could an all-knowing God give the teenager the baby-making equipment? That makes people. How would you put the teenagers, there you go, kids, knock yourself up. I mean, out, go. Just insane. So I don't think teenagers should have sex, but why not give them condoms, right? And I'll tell this to people, like, well, I think the condom should just be out there and available. And they'll, oh, but then you're telling them to have sex, Ben. No, I'm not. If I give someone a condom, I'm not saying have sex. I'm saying I wish you were sterile, right? That's what I'm saying. I wish nothing worked. But you're a teenager, and I know you've got all the restraint of a hypochondriac with health insurance. So here's a condom. So I don't think teenagers should have sex, but you should put out the condoms. And the reason I'm passionate about this is because I'm passionate about the idea of tell your teenagers what is going on. You know, tell them about sex, put the condoms out there, be honest about the situation they're in, which is God has given them this equipment. It feels amazingly good to use it. You know what I mean? And that's part of the plan. He's just trying to fool you into making people. You know, he is. I mean, first he said, make people, and then no one was making them. And then so he made it feel amazing. But sex is that way. Sex is like, well, this cake is delicious. Crap, a person. That's sex. That's what sex, that's the whole plan of God. Apparently, or nature, you know what I mean? I mean, it has to be, if you think about it, that, well, for instance, after a blackout, if you have a blackout in a city, what happens 9 months later? Pooh, you have a little spike in birth because we weren't conceived in love, we were conceived in boredom. A lot of us, you know? It's like, what are we going to do? So anyway, I'm passionate about telling kids about sex, warning them, because I never got a sex talk. Not a word about sex in the house. 7 kids in the family. So sex was happening. 7 kids in like 10 years. There were 5 teenage boys in our house at one time. 5. How do you not talk about sex with 5 teenage boys? Every morning there are 5 boners at the breakfast table. Can I say that? You know, the darn thing's floating like we're holding a seance. You know, is that too far? Did I? And then no one's saying a word about it. As a result of this, I was blindsided by puberty. Nobody even told me that puberty was coming. You know what I mean? How about a little practical prophecy here? You know what I mean? I mean, all this words about Jesus is coming any day. You guess I won't, that's dirty. But anyway, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Guess who else is going to be? And just not a word. And as a result, I was blindsided by puberty. And for a guy, I don't know about women, but for a guy, puberty is a personal Armageddon. I mean, that really is. Your life changes completely. Before puberty, it's all fun and la, and then suddenly you wake up. Can I say asshole? There's an asshole in your head. There really is. And he's just, ooh, look at that, look at her, look at it. He won't shut up. Look at her, look at her. No, look at her. She's our cousin. So, second cousin, just. And so I became I knew nothing about sex. The only time I heard about sex was at church. That was it. Was in church. And that's wrong. I got my sex talk in church. That's what I learned in Mormon Sunday School sex talk. If you masturbate, you will go to hell. Now, they said other things, but none of the boys heard anything. We just sat there like, that was a short ride. Now, actually, I wasn't saying that. I was saying, what is masturbate? Because I didn't know. I had had no sex. I knew nothing about it. So I run home. I look up masturbate in the dictionary. Then I have to look up like 5 more words. A chain reaction of ignorance. I don't know what I'm looking at. Then I figure out what that is. Then I look it up in the Bible. And I love the Bible's beautiful. Book of Mormon. These are beautiful scriptures. They are horrible sex manuals. Horrible. Especially the Old Testament. Do not look up anything on sex in the Old Testament. Masturbation. If you looked it up in the Bible, in the Old Testament. Self-abuse. That's just confusing to a 13-year-old. Self-abuse, it didn't seem to hurt. This is insane. Or spilling your seed. That's the other lingo. Spilling. And I actually like that one because then it's an accident. Like, oops, did I do that? It was my bad. Was that? So I look up all these scriptures and I don't know what it is, So now I haven't done this bit for a while, but basically what I end up is this place where I am literally, I think I'm going to hell in my sleep. What I'm saying is I should have known the difference. I would have liked to know the difference, just what sex was, and they should have told me clearly what masturbation was. This is what it is. I would have liked to known what it was. If it's a sin, I should know. And I should definitely know the difference between, say, masturbation and a nocturnal emission, because I didn't know, and that's how it happened. I thought I was masturbating in my sleep. I thought somehow I was possessed down there and it was just marching me to hell. So I was setting my alarm for 2 a.m. so I could wake up every and then wake up and stop my penis from marching me to hell. Just stop. And I remember literally, what are you doing? Yelling at, my crotch. This is wrong. This is evil. That went on for months. And then I remember finally after a bishop interview, I'll never forget the look on the poor bishop's face. Well, he's a kind man. And then it becomes apparent in the process of this horrible, horrifying event for me, this confession, it becomes apparent that I think this nocturnal thing is masturbation. And the look on his face of just, and then am I reading this right? Have I been going, that I remember leaving relieved, but so I can go on a mission. Okay, But I literally think my entire life is, in going. That was really, that was quite a traumatic experience.
Traumatized. So